How much money are you on track to make in 2024?
130,000. Feel full of life right now. Great. Life is great. I don't know what else to say. You know, if I can do it, anyone can.
Welcome to another episode of On the Road. This time we find ourselves in Florida with the great signing agent Darrell. How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. How you doing, Mark?
So good. Thank you for being here. I mean, look, every single one of these stories are inspirational. Yours is crazy inspirational. Speaking of inspiration that's inspired right out of the gate, how much money are you on track to make in 2024?
130,000.
When you say that out loud, what emotions go through your body?
Man, am I in a dream? Life, man. I feel full of life right now. Great. Life is great. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, you're a six-figure signing agent, right? I mean, last year you made $90,000 in 2023. You're going to break six figures this year. So let's just get into your story. Your story is as inspiring as anybody else. I mean, you are 39. You did a career change at 35. You had a great corporate job as far as money, steady income, consistent paycheck. That all changed. So take us back to why we got here. Why are we a signing agent? Take us back, man.
Where I started my journey, before I started as a signing agent, I was working corporate as a business analyst was my title. Long hours, extremely stressed out, unhappy, did not enjoy what I did at all. I also, 10 years ago, was diagnosed with a autoimmune disease, lupus. So anyone that knows about lupus, it's a terrible disease. You have flare-ups, fatigue, low energy, it's a ton of things, skin rashes, and stress does not help. So stress and having lupus at the same time, I had a ton of bad days, more bad days than good. I didn't feel like I had a place in life. I was not happy with my career at the moment. So I was slowly just looking at side gigs and entrepreneur things to do, such as wholesaling. I tried that. That didn't work too well. And then I came across the loan signing system.
Man, so it must have been a pretty dark place towards the end of your corporate career. I mean, how bad was bad? And if someone's in a bad spot, what would you say to help them get out of it right now?
I would say that was the lowest point in my life, or depression. Especially when you have a family and the bills are due every month, and you having to take all your strength just to get up and go work those 8 hours so you can receive a paycheck. And that paycheck, you know, it's not enough, but it's still something. So I was just really pulling all the strength I had just to go work those 8 hours or more in a week to make that paycheck just to pay my mortgage. And this is not covering every bill, so the bills are still piling up. Again, I have 2 kids and a wife as well. So it's like I just felt I should be doing something more in life. There has to be more to life than what I'm experiencing at the moment. So just in a very dark place. And like I said, with that, having health issues, that just did not help me at all.
Yeah.
So
I mean, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing this. And my bet is, you know, just life in general took a toll on the relationship, you as a dad. But 4 years later, man, everything's turned around. I mean, how does your wife look at you now? How do your kids look at you now? I see the smile on your face as I say that. And because that is better than the money you're making, you know? Yeah. And so tell me about that part, right? Because I think a lot of people see this business as a way to make money versus a way to like get your relationships better, being a better parent, et cetera. So how does your wife look at you now, man?
Oh, health-wise, the stress level is almost at a 0. So health-wise, I'm doing great. I wake up in a happy mood. Like my wife is like, she just looks at me some days, it's like, you love what you do. I do, I love it. Kids, I'm able to spend time with kids. I just feel free. I found like I finally found my place in life. So I couldn't ask for nothing more. Like this business is great. It's just, I don't know what more to say. It's life-changing. So to be where I'm at today, I'm extremely grateful. I'm grateful for you. I just found, I prayed and prayed and I just felt like God has answered my prayers and to be a business owner. And I still have to take a moment every now and then and just think about it. Like, is this really true? Am I really sitting here 4 years later, making the money I make, extremely happy and love what I do? And I think some
Man.
more. I really couldn't.
Thank you for sharing that. And again, I always talk about the money because I feel like that's everybody wants to hear, but it's not about the money, right? It's about what the money allows you to do. And that you said, be with your family, and have a better marriage and being a better parent. And that's really what makes this business worth it. I mean, you had every reason to roll over, that no one would blame you. You're diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. You got to have a paycheck to support the 2 children and the wife and contribute. So you had every reason like not to take the jump, not to take the risk and kind of build something for your own, but you didn't, man. What would your advice be, or your motivation to someone who's in that place right now just to keep going, man? What would you say to them?
I would just say, just go for it. Tough times never last. I was taught that.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to have the willpower. And like I said, being fatigued, just, not feeling like myself, no energy at all, and to still try. So I woke up and just, as long as I gave it my all, and anything I do, that's what I just go by. Give it your all, go for it. Things will get better. This business is great. You may not start off as everyone else. I've watched the videos from the very beginning. There's agents out the gate like Calvin that, they do great. I started I believe almost around the same time he did, but I just went at my own pace. And I, like you said, the money will come. So I didn't even focus on the money to begin with. It was just, am I in a better place than I was 4 years ago, or when I was working with that job that I did not like in that career? And that's it. I can make the same amount I did working when I was working with corporate, and I'm still much happier, still worth it. Why? Because I don't work for anybody. I'm much happier. Again, I have the time now I can spend with my kids. The family notices it. We're all in the same household. So, me being affected, I'm sure is affecting my kids and my wife as well. So just seeing a smile on their face, that's all I need. It's not even about the money at the end of the day. It's just being happy. We only have one life. I'm happy. So that's all worth it to me.
Man, I'm so proud of you. And this is like the perfect segue to your income journey, because I want to talk about that. I'm looking at my notes on the other screen here. You started in the middle of COVID, right? Middle of COVID was great. Interest rates were 3%. How much did you make your first year in the business?
20,000.
What did you make in your second year of the business?
70.
What did you make in your third year in the business?
70.
And then what did you make last year?
Last year, 90.
And then what are you on track to make this year in your estimation?
Around 130,000.
I mean, what an incredible journey. You just said something I thought that was super awesome. And that is, am I better off now than I was 4 years ago? That's the comparison point, not other people. And that's like, you can be inspired by others, but because they're succeeding, it doesn't mean you're failing. So I want to talk about your journey. Last year, interest rates touched 8% and you made $90,000. So my questions are this, man, is how come you didn't panic, fold up, go back to your corporate job in 2022?
What kept me going is, one, again, just I love what I do. I understand it's real estate. There's ups and downs. And I tell my wife this all the time. I think Mark's in my head, because anytime I get discouraged or need some motivation, you release the right video. And it was, I believe, a Q&A video. And it was, a lady asked a question, and sorry, I can't remember her name, but that was one of her questions to you was, Mark, what do we do in these times? But COVID's around, interest rates are high. And your response was, is there real estate? As long as there's real estate around, there's always work. And right there, put the battery in my back. So that very next day, I went out with all title companies I work with currently, followed up with them just to let them know, hey, I'm still here through this, developed new relationships, and just kept building. So I didn't stop what I was doing. I just kept going. And my focus was to build relationships, and that kept me going. I mean,
well, let's unpack that for a second, because I think there's so many vulnerable and honest things you said there. And I think there's this idea that like successful agents, signing agents don't get down. They don't get discouraged. No, they get discouraged and down, but they just don't stay down, right? They find something to be inspired by. I love that you stay close to any of the information I put out. And I think that's the difference. I think sometimes people get on the island, stay on their island, and they let the thoughts in their head control everything versus like, let me go out and try to find information that will get me inspired. But what I love is you said, like, I got back to work, interest rates doubled from 2021 to 2022. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, there's no business for notaries. You ignored that and just went back to work. And walk me through that. What did that look like? What did getting back to work mean for you?
What I noticed with the interest rate jumping, when I would visit these title companies, they were empty. And a lot of, whether it's attorneys, they're notaries, they either stopped doing what they were doing, they stopped and went back to what their previous job was, or they just was taking the time off because to them, there was no work. So again, there's always work. So that left it wide open for me. And
Okay. I got to stop you because I've asked this question to, I don't know, 25 notaries, signing agents I've interviewed, and you've said it the best. People don't understand that there's money to be made in contraction. See, a lot of people get into businesses on the upswing, but it's arguably better to get into businesses on the downswing, because when people leave, you actually end up getting more opportunity because you're sticking with it. And they're like, real estate transactions are still closing. And so thank you for saying it like that, because there's money to be made in contractions. And people on the outside think, should I be a signing agent? Yes, because there's not that many signing agents in the industry right now because they all left during the contraction. So you're on pace to do your best year ever. And we're at 7% interest rates as we speak. And like last year, let's talk about last year. I'm looking at my notes again. You made $90,000 and interest rates touched 8%. What do you attribute last year's success to, and talk through that?
Last year's success, I would say adding to my business. That was Ron. Mm-hmm. I had my certification in 2022, but I didn't do anything with it. I was still marketing out in the field, taking signings from signing services. So this year I took a step back and I just said, how can I add value to my business? Ron was one. Being that Ron's here is nowhere to go, and I see that it's only going to grow as the years go on. That's what I implemented that and started marketing Ron.
Any good business owner is like, how do I create more streams of revenue within my current business line? Ron, it could be apostilles, it could be wedding official. You chose Ron. So I want everybody to hear that, right? It was a very instinctive, intentional business move. I need to add another revenue opportunity. I'm going to lean into Ron. What I hope everyone else heard is it's still going out and marketing your business by foot, but now instead of saying, I'm going to be your in-person signing agent, I now have another opportunity to offer you for your services. But don't think because you're Ron certified, business is going to come to you. You still got to go market, and you market just the way that I teach in the loan signing system. But now instead of saying I can be a traditional signing agent, you're saying I have Ron and I can service that part of your business too. And now Ron has single-handedly taken a 90,000. And my guess is Ron is also why you're going to break six figures this year. How much of your business is direct business where you keep all the money? And then how much of that is with signing services? Just a percentage, more or less.
60% is signing service.
You're hearing from a six-figure signing agent who's telling you 60% of his business is with SS. And so it's this thing that you could only make six figures and be all direct is just not true. Like he made $90,000 last year. 60% that was signing services, 40% is that direct. You're inspiring people that you could be, you know, a part-time direct signing agent, a part-time signing service signing agent, and still make $90,000. And this year, ideally over six. So thank you for saying that. What is the number one piece of advice? Someone's like, yo, D, give me the best piece of advice you can give me to help me build my business. Someone watching right now, what would that be?
To create relationships, whether that's client, title, a lender, the signing service owner, the signing service scheduler, anyone you come in contact with, build relationships with.
What does creating a relationship mean to Darrell?
Before I even start the signing, I have a little sidebar conversation, not long, but hey, what do you do? You know, nice home. I'll find something that I can relate to them. Just let them feel more at ease. This is a stranger in their home, as if someone's coming to my home. Just put them at ease. You know, and a lot of times my tactic is when I find out what they do, they're happy to talk about what they're doing, especially if it's a career they love. So they're happy to talk about it. For example, I had one the other day. It was a guy who was opening a restaurant. Come to find out, it's right down the street from me. So guess what? I went to his grand opening. He was happy to see me. He's like, you just did my clothing for this restaurant. So, and he gave me, let me get a discount on the food. So, and now anytime I go in there, it's like, hey, we're buddies now. So it's like that. You just never know who you run into or who they are. In the long run, how you can help them or how they can help you.
Okay. First off, did you drop so much fire, bro? It's such a good episode. So I love the intentionality of like commonalities, but what I've never heard before in one of these episodes is like trying to dig to find out what they do, because you're right. People love to talk about themselves and there's nothing better than getting that conversation. So walk someone through kind of your secret sauce of getting them to talk about themselves.
Just in general conversation, just, a down to earth conversation. And a lot of times they will ask me before I ask them, because they're always curious. How did I get into it? How long I've been doing it? Is it a great business? So one, being that I love what I love, I love what I'm doing. I'm happy to talk about what I do. So in return, they'll open up and I'll ask the same question. And then they're talking about their career and what they do or how long they've been in Florida and so forth. So I'm not in and out, just sign this paperwork, let's go. I'm sitting there, I'm building relationships. Again, I want them to feel comfortable that the stranger's in their home and that I have their best interests. So that's, most of the feedback that I receive from clients is, he's very nice. We have a great conversation. I would love for him to do my signing again. And that has led to more signings, especially with investors. So that's why I'm always curious as to what they do, because you never know. And then I've learned, they have multiple homes or they have a family member that's signing next month. So they're going to tell their family member to refer me. So it's, in the end, that brings more business, just having a general conversation and being open with, which I love.
What I love is how intentional you are. Like you want to steer the conversation to what they do. You sometimes look at the loan application. And so you're really coming in there like, I got to make a good moment out of this. And what I really heard, Darrell, and I want everyone else to hear what I hear, is you're someone who cares. And by the way, that's the common theme of every successful signing agent on one of these episodes. It's, I care about the signer. I care about the lender. It's not just, I'm not here to make money. I'm here to like really empathize. Like I'd be weirded out if someone came in my house. So because of that, I want to make sure that I acknowledge that and I try to get to know them. It's very intentional. I love how you look at the 1003. You have a very systematic, I want them to talk about themselves, easy way to create a relationship. You get them talking about themselves. I mean, I hope everyone rewatches this episode. You've dropped so much fire. So how much of your signing service business is repeat business?
I work with a handful of signing services and I'm a preferred notary to every one of them. So,
and that's the point I'm trying to make is like by creating the relationships, you get that repeat business. And, and that's what's important here. So I think people go, oh, well, how come my phone's not ringing, even though they've done 20 closings? And I'm like, have you created relationships with those 20 signing service owners? Because you know they could give you repeat business. So speak about how you do that so someone can learn from you.
The goal is, when you introduce yourself to these signing services, especially starting out, just introduce yourself, let them know, get yourself out there and put it, if it's your first signing or every signing with that signing service that you take, do your best. We're all representing this client. So we all are in this together. So I don't just think of it as, hey, I'm in it to get my paycheck from this signing service and get the documents back. I don't care. So be mindful that, this is funding. If you do make a mistake, be willing to correct that. Whether I'm talking to them verbally on the phone or through email, I'm just providing them with updates. So for example, as soon as I'm done with the signing, I'm scanning in the documents. I don't just scan in the documents and move on. I'm going to follow up with them to make sure that they have those documents, especially if I see in the portal that it has not been downloaded and some time has went by.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you. That is so good. I hope everyone heard what he just said. You are so, what I love about you, D, is like you're so intentional. You will go back to the portal to see if they've downloaded them, because if they haven't, you want to remind them, A, I uploaded docs for two reasons. A, you want to make sure they know that you're doing a good job, right? You're on time, you're efficient, but also like a friendly reminder, A, they're up there. Do you want me to drop docs yet? And so again, I hope everybody heard that. I think some signing agents, and by the way, this is how you create relationships. When they know that you care about the business, they're in turn going to mark you preferred. Like this is all part of the process. The fact that you go back in the portal to see if they've downloaded it, I want to bet 90% of notaries don't do that. But it shows why you get repeat business, why your 60% of your business is SS, but you're still going to break six figures and you made 90 last year. It's like people see signing agents like you and think it's luck. There's zero luck in this. It is effort, caring, calling back to make sure that, just a reminder, I don't see docs are downloading. Like, that is someone who cares, someone who gets the relationship value. As you say, introduce yourself, right? And how are you doing that? Kind of just walk somebody through, let's say you get a signing from a signing service, never used you before. Walk me through that introduction process and kind of to help someone else and what to mimic what you do.
So a lot of times the signing service, if this is your first time working with them, they will call and introduce themselves. If not, so when they introduce themselves, I will be upfront with them and let them know how long I've been doing it, the experience I have, what type of documents, if I have a mobile scanner. So I will answer all those questions up front, but then I'll turn around and do the same thing with them. Your signing service is nationwide. Is it only local? What's your pay terms? Just kind of building that relationship with them. And then I want to know their expectations. What do you expect? What makes a great notary?
Oh.
So I just, because I want everything done correctly. I want to satisfy we have a client to service. And that's where it's at.
I mean, how incredible is this conversation? I mean, this is such a high level notary conversation. I hope everyone understands how fortunate we are to hear from you today. And you'll call them and ask them, what do you expect? Like, it's so simple, but so powerful. Like, you're letting them know, I want to not only meet, but exceed your expectations. A lot of signing agents will take a signing, do what they expect from themselves versus doing what they want you to do. And just a simple question of like, what do you expect from me? And basically, I want to live up to your expectations and or exceed them. You're not saying that, but you are saying it. And that is powerful. It's like, okay, what do you expect from me? What do you want from me?
And the reason why this is important, I want everyone to know this, not every signing service is the same. Let's say I have a signing service, you have a signing service. Well, my signing service, my client in particular, they may require something. And this is a detail. When you fill in your driver's license, they don't want that abbreviated. It has to be fully written out. So something that small, you may, it may not be an issue because you've been abbreviating driver's license since you started. But this client do not want that. So it's always important not to assume and just set the expectation. What do you expect? So you don't miss that. You don't have to go back out. And everyone's happy. So those little details do matter.
Yes, they matter. And this is why 6% of your business is SS. Like, they know they can trust you. And if they're going to trust you, you're going to get the highest paying $100, $110. Like, so if you can do no marketing and make $100, $120 for a signing, like all day, every day, you know what I mean? All you got to do is drop off docs. You don't need to, do any gratituding in person. Like, it's a win-win, but you got to get to that 100, 110, 120 moment by doing what Darrell is telling you he does. I can talk to you all day, man. I mean, thank you so much for this conversation. How are you creating the relationship with your title at connections, and talk about the relationship building process?
So with title companies, essentially the same thing. What's your expectations? So I like to be upfront and know what they expect. Now, if they're local, what they love, this is a big one. Instead of you sending me a shipping label and for me shipping it, you're local, I'll drop it off. A lot of times they say, oh, what's your fee for that? They will increase the fee for you to drop it off locally. Why ship it if we're in the same city?
Yeah.
So that's my big one with title companies, especially when I'm marketing. I have a mobile scanner. I'm willing to drop it off as soon as we're done. And a lot of times I say, don't worry about scanning, just bring it straight to the office. And so one example with the title company I have now, when I started marketing, which was another fear of mine, I went out there marketing. It was so simple. And I'm like, I wasted so much time not marketing. And all I did was walk in, introduce myself. They were welcoming. They said, oh, you wouldn't believe this. And I believe you touched on this a while ago. Notary, we don't have anyone walk in here ever. Like, we try to look for notaries. No one comes in here. And I'm like, really? I was thinking about putting packages together. All I did was walk in there, hand them a business card. And guess what? They had a notary, but he was not responding. And till this day, I'll go in their office and complete signings for a full day if they need me. And they have attorneys that work in that office, but they take vacations.
I don't even know what I can add to that, bro. Like, it's people think I'm lying or I'm trying to sell a course when I tell you notaries don't market. Like I mean,
You're
everyone
right.
thinks I'm just BSing them. You know what I mean? The truth is, notaries don't market. And so, and here's another thing that I tell people is, look, I give you scripts, I give you what to say, but the truth is this: the reason people get direct business is not because of the scripts, it's because of you.
Yeah.
And it's because it's you walking in there, you and your smile, you and your, what is your expectations? I want to live up to it. It's less about what you say, and it's more about you just doing the action. And again, you know what I love about, you know, and I hope you don't think I'm talking down about you saying you wasn't one of the students who was burning down the barn, because I think your story is the more realistic story. You did 20, 70, 70, 90, and hopefully 100,000 this year. If you could go back and talk to young signing agent Darrell to expedite this growth, right? You're like, man, I want you making 70 grand in year one, no, 90 grand in year one. What would you tell young signing agent Darrell to maybe help him shorten how quick you got to where you are today? What would that be to your young self?
Just to start sooner.
Okay.
For example, if
Yep.
I was commissioned January 2020, I did not start till April.
Okay.
The reason was I just feared.
Mm.
I was thinking I was not ready. I kept telling myself in my head that I was not ready. So that first signing I got in April, I could have done in January. There's nothing stopping me but fear in my own head. I was deterring myself because something in my brain was saying, no, you're not ready. You're not ready.
No.
Well, I should have just went for it. So now I think back and I'm like, if I can start again, I would have just went all in and went for it from day one. I had all the tools, all the training. There's nothing that would have changed from me doing a signing in January versus April. I just would have go for it. I mean, again, you're going to have that learning curve. That first signing I had, I missed one signature, but I ran back there so fast to get that signature corrected.
I'm hoping by you saying that, people out here listening realize that it's just voices in your head and you got to turn them off at some point. And what Darrell's telling you is he wishes that he would have stopped listening to those voices sooner. Like you said, the training didn't change. If somebody else right now has the fear of marketing direct, how would you coach them to stop listening to the voices that you at some point had to stop listening to?
Again, get those voices out your head. Even if you just one title company today, go to that title company, get the fear out, go in, introduce yourself. Whether you're just handing them a business card and walking back out and you forget the script and don't say anything, just do something to say, hey, I progressed today. I'm farther than I was yesterday.
What I love is your very tangible advice. I hope everybody heard it. It's just drop off a business card, don't say a word, walk out, and you are better off today than you were yesterday. You didn't fail because you didn't say the script. You didn't fail because you didn't get any business. You didn't fail because you didn't get their business card. You actually won because you did it. And that is such good advice. And I hope everybody, because he's about to make six figures. He made 90,000 last year. And he's telling you he wish he would have stopped listening to the voices earlier. And he's saying that to help you get through yours. And what I love is your tangible advice of like, just walk in, walk out. Don't judge yourself on, did I get business?
Right.
Just judge yourself on, I did it. You know what I mean? All these conversations are incredible. I think this one is epic. Make sure you guys re-listen because I think you give the really good tangible advice, not this raw stuff. And so on the way out, man, I want to kind of revisit where you were earlier in this conversation, right? You got diagnosed with lupus. And if someone's in that moment in their life, and you told me earlier in this conversation, it was the darkest moment, right? So if someone's in their darkest moment right now, whatever it is, what's the last words? I'm giving you the last words to help this person get through, go market, go take that signing and just build this business. Take the last words, man. What would you say?
Dig deep and pull that inner strength out. Just you don't give up. Just don't give up. That's again, tough times do not last forever. You may think this is the end of the world. I was at my lowest. I was like, there's nothing else that's going to benefit me in this world. I really felt like that. Giving up on life. And what makes me sad till this day when I think about it is, the expression on my wife's face. Just, I felt like I let her down. So that hurt me more than it hurt myself. So, and I'm like, I have to keep doing something. My kids didn't ask to be in this world. I have to provide. So just that inner strength, it's in it. It's in you. Just, I don't know any other way to say it. Just keep fighting. It's, you will prevail. Just keep going. Don't give up. Everyone has a hard moment, whether it's health, financial, whatever you're going through in life. It's not the end of the road. And I just pray that you get through it. And if I can do it, anyone can.
What a way to end it, man. On the way out, show everybody that 10K plaque with pride. Look at that thing right there. He is part of the prestigious 10K Club Award. That means he made $10,000 in 1 calendar month. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for today. I think you've helped some notaries. You've helped some human beings. And thank you for allowing me to be the vessel to share your story. And until next time, bro. Appreciate
it, man. Thank you, man.
All right. Bye.